Unsung hero is something that we talk about a lot, but he really is the heartbeat of a lot of the teams that he's played for, and he is the unsung hero. So incredible career.
Former legend who has revealed his plans to call it a career. Sergio Busquets announced that he will retire at the end of the current MLS season. The 37-year-old Spanish midfielder joined Inter Miami in 2023 after a trophy-filled career at Barcelona. Busquets won 9 La Liga and 3 Champions League titles. With Barcelona, it was a key starter on Spain's 2010 World Cup winning side. Aaron, an absolutely incredible career for this player. One that I think everybody may have their own individual memories about watching him and seeing him lift all these trophies. But how do you think, at the end of the day, that everybody is really going to remember him?
Sergio Busquets will go down as the greatest defensive midfielder ever in my book. The titles he's won, the roles that he played in those titles. There's a role named after Makelele, and it really hurts me to kind of push him out of that spot. But for this career that we've seen out of Sergio Busquets, the heights that he hit, the length that he was at those heights, he is the prototype of a defensive midfielder, especially if you look at how he played in the profile of him. He was one of the slowest players that we've seen in top flight football, but his brain worked faster than anyone on the pitch. There's a famous quote that says, if you watch the game, you see Sergio Busquets. If you watch Sergio Busquets, you see the game. The way that he controlled the game through the middle of the pitch, it took one little drop of the shoulder and he'd beat 3 players and play Messi through. He never lost the ball. Metronomic passing in like 95% range. The way that he held down that midfield with Xavi and Iniesta for years, the way that he held down that Spanish midfield. I did not like Sergio Busquets, but you have to respect everything about him. I didn't like the way that he dove sometimes. I didn't like the way you'd see him on the ground like peeking when he got a foul. He was such a crafty player, such an intelligent player that sometimes I was like, I can't stand something about him, but the greatest defensive midfielder of all time in my book.
I think it's, I hate comparing eras because Makelele speaks for himself. He has a whole position.
Got a role named after.
But what I will say about Sergio Busquets is he changed the way that we look at that position in terms of just being a person that breaks up play and being super dynamic in industry in there to classy silk and just passing in between the lines. Unsung hero is something that we talk about a lot, but he really is the heartbeat of a lot of the teams that he's played for, and he is the unsung hero. So incredible career.
I would actually argue that he was the opposite of a prototypical number 6 defensive midfielder when you just look at him. Nobody looks at that tall, lanky, somewhat awkward-looking guy and thinks that's going to be the guy that patrols the middle of the field. You mentioned he wasn't that fast. He wasn't the kind of guy that you would think is going to be getting stuck into all kinds of tackles.
4-inch vertical.
Yeah, but and I think he was the perfect guy for the Barcelona system and for the Spain midfield and the way that they played. And I think it's a great lesson to all of us that when we look at a player's profile, how big, strong, and fast is he? What's up here? How does he see the game? How does he read the game? And he proved he was, I mean, like, looks can be deceiving. He didn't look like a number 6, but he was the best maybe that there ever was.
Yeah. You like watching him play? Do you use him when you're playing EAFC? Is he one of the players that you use?
No, because he's too slow. He's too slow in the game.
Are you mad? You don't use Busquets?
You don't use him?
That's how I know you're not good at FIFA.
What?
Ooh. That's how I know you're not good at EFC.
If
you're using Busquets, you're not good.
I think the reputation speaks for itself.
I will give you a chance.
Listen,
Coming out, Sergio Busquets going to hang it up after this season. Just what kind of context would you put into the career he's had, maybe overall, and then also what he's done coming stateside?
Yeah, well, first of all, the video I thought was a short film. That was a very good video that he put together, really moving. And you've got Ray Hudson in there immortalized as part of Sergio Busquets' retirement video. So, you know, you look at the video, you realize the player that we have now here in MLS, a player that really was the best in his position. I think he really did define the holding midfield role. You know, you can call him a defensive midfielder. Is he a playmaker? Is he a creator? You know, I think he really redefined the creativity as part of that job he had in in the Barcelona midfield. And he's come to Inter Miami, and you saw what he did over the weekend against NYCFC. Really played well, some really slick passing. And even though he has looked slow at times and he doesn't have the same, I think the same movement in central midfield, he's been a bit of a liability. He's still so smart on the ball, to the point where both Tata Martino and Javier Mascherano have moved him into the back three, back four at times to just keep him on the field because he's that important. So it's, it is a bit nostalgic to see the video and realize that he's just a few games away from calling it a day. But, certainly to have him in MLS was a big treat.
Definitely a big treat. It's always great to see big stars in MLS and able to see, we'll be able to see him finish his career with Inter Miami.